All right, so if you think AI is just coming for our jobs, you're only seeing half the picture. It's actually coming for our job reviews. Yep, that annual and, let's be honest, sometimes dreaded performance conversation is about to get a massive AI-powered upgrade. But what does that really mean for you, for your manager, and, for the future of work itself? Let's get into it. So here's our game plan. We're going to start by getting to know this new AI. Think of it as HR's new creative partner. Then we'll see how it's shaking up all sorts of core functions before we zoom way in on the one we all know and love, the performance review. After that, we'll pull back out to look at the bigger picture, the human-AI partnership, and why trust is the absolute key to making it all work.
First things first, let's totally reframe how we think about this tech. This isn't about replacing people, not at all. It's about giving them a seriously powerful new collaborator. This quote, this is the core idea for everything we're talking about today. It's a partnership, right? AI can generate the first draft, the raw material, but it's the human professional who brings the context, the nuance, and that crucial final judgment. So what's the big deal with this kind of AI? Well, unlike older AI that just sorted stuff or made predictions, generative AI actually creates new things. It can write a policy doc, design a training quiz, or, like we're about to see, summarize a bunch of feedback. It's less like a calculator and way more like a creative assistant, helping you whip up ideas and materials faster than you ever could before. And look, this change didn't just happen overnight. If you think back to the early 2000s, tech was all about automating boring, repetitive tasks, like payroll. Then the 2010s came along with predictive analytics, but now, here in the 2020s, we've hit this genuinely creative era where AI is a real partner in strategic work. It's a whole new ballgame.
So we've got this powerful new assistant on the team. Where is it making a difference? Well, it turns out pretty much everywhere.
AI is streamlining functions all across the board. In recruiting, it can draft job posts that actually attract more diverse talent. For learning and development, it's creating personalized training paths for every single employee. I mean, that's scaling mentorship in a way that was just impossible before. But the area we're going to zero in on, performance management, that's where this transformation becomes incredibly personal and super impactful for all of us. And that brings us right to the heart of it all. Let's take this big, abstract idea of AI and ground it in a process that's super familiar and often super time-consuming in pretty much any workplace, the performance review. This really says it all, doesn't it? The old way. A manager is stuck sifting through piles of notes and peer feedback for hours, maybe even days, just to prep one single review. The new AI-assisted way, that summary gets generated in a matter of minutes. The efficiency gain here is just massive. So how does this thing actually work? Well, it's a pretty simple 5-step loop. You start with all your raw data, manager comments, performance metrics, the works. Then you give the AI a prompt, ask it to summarize everything. And then, this is the most important step, a human always reviews the output. They're checking for tone, for fairness, for accuracy, before using that summary to build a really meaningful development conversation. This really gets at a key principle. The AI is amazing at processing data and spotting patterns, but it just can't understand the human context. So the final decision, the nuance, the empathy that you need in that conversation, that has to come from a person. Every time. Okay, let's zoom back out for a second. This whole new workflow for performance reviews, it's really a perfect little example of a much bigger idea, the human-AI partnership. This is the ideal relationship right here. The AI is your virtual assistant. It handles all the heavy lifting, synthesizing data, writing up those first drafts, and that frees up the human professional to focus on what we do best, strategy, building relationships, and having those really important conversations. So what does this all mean for the future of HR careers? Well, success isn't about becoming a programmer. It's about mastering this balance. It's about blending digital skills with human sensitivity. The best pros will be the ones who know exactly when to use the tool and when to trust their own gut. Of course, with all this incredible power comes some pretty big responsibility. Bringing this tech into the workplace isn't just a technical challenge. It is a huge ethical one. And building and keeping trust, that's everything. This is the single most important question every leader needs to be asking. You've always got to weigh what the technology can do against our human values, against legal rules, and against the real-world impact it's going to have on employees' lives. And the risks are very real. Think about it. An AI trained on biased historical data could start unfairly penalizing certain groups in its summaries.
Without transparency, the AI review just becomes a black box that totally erodes trust. And data privacy is, of course, paramount. But, and this is the key, for every single one of these risks, there are clear strategies to fight back, from regular bias audits to always keeping a human in the loop. We can really boil this all down to 4 essential pillars. Is it fair? Are we being transparent about how we're using it? Is a human ultimately accountable for the outcome? And is there always human oversight? If a company can give a solid yes to all 4 of those, they're definitely on the right track. And this isn't just theory. Big companies like IBM are already doing this. They have an entire ethics board that reviews every single HR tool for fairness and privacy before it ever gets near an actual employee. Now that is what leading with trust looks like in the real world. So, we end right back where we started, with this one question. The technology can give us the first draft, the data, the summary, but the final say, the context, the empathy, and the ultimate responsibility, that must always belong to a person. And that's the balance that's going to define the future of work for all of us.